Okay, so you're here because you want to get smart fast, right? Peel back the layers of something interesting without getting totally lost in the weeds. Today, we're doing exactly that. We've got this really fascinating piece of source material. It's a review of an animated film called Flow.
And get this, the film itself has absolutely no dialogue. Zero.
Yeah, wild, isn't it?
So what's intriguing here is we're not, dissecting the film moment by moment ourselves. We're using this review as our lens, our springboard.
Right. It gives us this focused take on how a filmmaker, Jinso Belotti's in this case, can tell a whole story and really move an audience just with visuals, purely visual knowledge. So our mission today, our deep dive, is to figure out how Flow pulls this off. How does it communicate? How does it make you feel things when no one's speaking? What can we learn about, storytelling itself from this approach?
Well, the review jumps right into the film's world. It talks about this serene, maybe even a bit melancholic post-apocalyptic setting, mostly underwater, and navigating this watery world is our main character. A lone black cat on a small boat. Definitely an unexpected protagonist.
An unlikely voyager, for sure. What really caught my eye in the review was how it talked about the connections this cat makes. It's alone, but then it meets other animals. And the review mentions these delicate, sometimes tenuous bonds. It really makes you wonder, how do those relationships even form, let alone convey meaning without a single word?
That's the absolute core of it, isn't it? The reviewer suggests that this silence, this lack of dialogue, it isn't a limitation. It's actually described as a masterstroke.
A masterstroke. How so?
Because it forces us as viewers to engage differently, more intuitively. You have to really watch the body language, the subtle emotional cues, things that, honestly, dialogue can sometimes just drown out.
That makes sense. It's like the film kind of bypasses the logical language part of our brain and goes somewhere deeper. The review uses this phrase, the universal language of body, behavior, and emotion.
Exactly. It suggests that by taking away the words, the film almost whispers directly into the subconscious. That's the
Whispers into the subconscious.
Yeah. And it invites a different kind of watcher. You need patience, you need empathy. The review compares it to entering a lucid dream where silence holds infinite meaning.
Okay, a lucid dream. That paints a picture.
Yeah.
And a big part of that dreamlike feeling, I'm guessing, comes from how it looks.
Oh, absolutely. The review really emphasizes the visuals. It calls the animation, which was done using Blender apparently, it calls it having a painterly elegance.
Painterly elegance.
Yeah, and talks about how carefully composed the shots are. Think about how important that must be when you don't have dialogue to guide the eye or explain things.
Totally. The review describes these huge, expansive, watery vistas, and also these dense, overgrown remnants of human civilization. And the camera just sort of drifts through it all.
Yeah.
Gracefully. And it pointed out specific things too, like the tiny details, ripples in the water, sunlight through leaves, and especially how the animals move. Not like cartoons, but with believable and natural grace.
Precisely. And the review makes the point that these aren't just pretty pictures, right? They're not just aesthetic choices, they are fundamental narrative tools.
Narrative tools.
Yeah, in a silent film, these visual details have to carry so much more weight. They build the atmosphere, they deepen the emotion, they tell the story.
The review also brought up something interesting about the film's pacing, its rhythm.
Right. It stresses that flow isn't rushing you. It requires and actually rewards patience. You have to be willing to just observe.
So it's not like bam, 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 plot point after plot point.
Not at all. It flows organically, as the review puts it, like water, I suppose.
Which means, your attention probably shifts, right? Without dialogue telling you, look here, or this is important.
Exactly. Suddenly, things that might seem small in another film become really significant, like tiny shifts in how an animal behaves, changes in the weather, the way the group dynamics evolve. You have to notice those things to get the story.
So the cat's on this physical journey, navigating the flood. The review suggests there's a big internal journey happening too, an internal transformation.
Yes, you see the character change. It faces hardship, it finds companionship, it deals with loss. It's definitely more than just getting from point A to point B.
It's a character arc, told visually.
And that arc allows the film to explore some pretty big themes, according to the review. Things like trust. Trust that has to be earned, not just given. Empathy that kind of awakens through shared struggle.
Bonds formed through shared experience, not conversation.
Right. And ultimately, it touches on coexistence. How can different creatures, different beings survive together in these really uncertain times? How do they negotiate that space without, speaking the same language or any language?
That's deep for an animated film about a cat.
It sounds like it. Then there's the ending. The review is careful not to spoil it, obviously.
Good.
But it calls the ending both unexpected and perfectly fitting, which is intriguing.
Unexpected and fitting. Okay.
It's described as a gentle yet powerful culmination of everything the film's been building. It ties those themes together.
And leaves you feeling something specific, I guess.
Apparently so. What's also really interesting is the mention of a post-credits scene, an Easter egg.
Oh.
Yeah, and the review says this little extra bit provides a sense of emotional closure. It makes the whole silent narrative feel poetic and complete.
Huh. So even without words, they found a way to give that satisfying final note.
Seems like it. The feeling it leaves you with, according to the review, isn't adrenaline or suspense, but more like a deep, lingering sense of peace and wonder.
Peace and wonder. I like the sound of that.
So wrapping it all up, the review really positions Flow as, well, more than just a movie. It calls it a meditative experience.
A meditative experience, yeah, that fits with everything we've discussed.
It really hammers home this idea that storytelling doesn't always need words to be incredibly moving.
Absolutely. It speaks to those core things: companionship, resilience, the power of nature, and maybe the power of cinema itself to communicate beyond language.
So that kind of brings us to a final thought for you listening in. It's about the power of nonverbal communication in your own life. Think about those moments where you understood someone or felt connected without needing words, or maybe where words even got in the way.
Yeah.
And perhaps, consider seeking out flow. Experience for yourself how silence can actually speak volumes on screen.